Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and today we are doing some more death PvP. In this one, we went against a balance, and this is a pretty cursed matchup, I will say. It can be very hard for the death to come out ahead, but there are definitely cards in Death's arsenal that can get you there. Of course, things like Monster Mash, both kinds of Monster Mash are very, very good at this. Sometimes, you can single weakness and bait out a Dark Pact if they have that pet and go for a Skeletal Dragon. This also does just immense amounts of damage and is really, really good for just like a big hit for 8 pips. And it's also just a very good blade counter. So the main issue with the matchup and the reason why it's so cursed is because chromatic effects are just not nearly as potent, and they become universal effects. So it's like you have Headless, which will put on to 15% universal weaknesses, which is a loss of 20%. That's over half of the potency from this card. And then ironically, Grim Reader actually puts on like minus 35s. That's not something I would have seen coming, but I'm also kind of happy for it because it does at least give Death something. It's only a loss of 5% for universals instead of a lot more. But then, even when Death does get good value on their Chrome weaknesses, Scarab exists, and the weakness swap Scarab that I mean is like, it's like this Scorpion but with like a negative charm. So it's like this. It's basically what happens is, if you Grim Reader a balance, what'll happen is they will take out a Scarab, it will send a 35% weakness right back over to you, and it will break their remaining 35% weakness on that, 1 pip spell. So that's a big part of why the matchup is just as boned as it is. Doomoni can be a lifeline sometimes, and it is pretty decent. And then, of course, you've got things like Elephant and Pyre Dragon. That's also very, very good as well. And something I've been meaning to do is take these out for Contagions. I feel like those are just going to be better these days after the last Death P video that I did. But yep, overall, this is just the deck. I still have a couple Ifrits in just because Elf Ifrit can be good sometimes. And it does definitely help in certain matchups. But yeah, overall, this is pretty much just the deck. It's kind of just what I'm doing out here, so that's kind of all there really is to it. So for the gear, still the same as always, Wastelander hat, plot armor, although I do definitely want to try out the new, like this robe, but for Death, I just don't have it, and I'm not really looking to open packs anymore at the moment. Of course, it should bulb up boots. I like that extra virulence that they give, although let me see if we have our guild crafter at the Dauntless Ducks guild house. I'm not sure if we will, but yeah, it has definitely been a long time since this guild is rated, well over a year at this point. But I can go over here and check out some of the new boots from the Lemuria raid. Yeah, so which are the death ones? It's the grave ones. Okay, so the grave private eye shoes. These are the same stats, but they give a spirit blade, which if you're going for cards like Wraith, that can be interesting. But with my strat, I don't tend to do that, so I like the extra virulence. And then of course, if you have the Faeriequeens version, that gives a moon shield, which I think is even better. So to each their own. But then for the wand, I have the Shabalba Singularity Sword for level 160. The Grave Attunement Rod for 170 is actually quite good. It does give all of the best stats. But you can actually get away with using the 160 wand with this setup and get a ton more HP and then not even lose stats. Like, with my Clockwork Courser, I am over on Pierce. That's where we're at right now. So yeah, 56 Pierce and then 202 damage. Those are the caps for Death, and then 75 Resist out of 78 if I were to throw on, like, what is it? This hat. If I were to use this hat instead, I would actually not get there. Interesting. Maybe I'll have to look into why that is. Or no, I know why that is. It's because this would get me there, but I don't use that. So, yep. Speaking of the amulet, where is my Wastelander hat? Okay, here we go. So, yeah. Speaking of the amulet, I use the Hunhao amulet. This can be neat, but I personally don't use it. There's what is the new raid amulet look like? I think it gives like a blade and a dilute. Yeah, so this is the same template, except it gives a death blade, a 45 death blade, which can actually be quite nice, as well as a blade dilution. And I might actually go for this because in my deck I have 2 strangles and I only need 1. So I think maybe I'll have to check my storm and see if I have this, the new Lemuria Raid Amulet. Gonna be something I have to check on, but yeah. Fell Dream Reaver Knife for the Fame, of course, got that extra square. And then for the ring, Skyfarer, got to have all that extra hip chance. For the pet, I've got this triple-double Mighty Gloomy Goatling, but I think I am going to invest in one of these Charred Dragons, just for the extra elephants that they give, so that can be nice. And then I've got my Clockwork Courser, just not on the character at the moment, for that extra 2 Pierce, to get me up to 56 Fire Pierce, just to get to the cap. Just kind of cheeky, I guess, with it. And then for the deck, I have the Hunhao Singularity deck, just because it gives me a tier 5 copy of Monster Mash, which is just nuts if you can set it up. So, yep, overall, that's the deck, that's the gear, these are the stats. Of course, you know, got perfect pretty much everything. So, yeah, Shad's only 3-piece, but still pretty good, pretty solid. And, of course, you know, you can use stuff like the Grave Crime Fighter's coat or the Hunhao Singularity Mail. Right now, with my strat, I'd probably use the Crime Fighter's coat just because it gives an extra headless for a 5th one in the deck. So if you are interested in using a raid robe, I would recommend the new one, which is easier to get than the old one. So with that being said, that's about it, and I hope you enjoy this match. This is a balance. That's sick. So 2 back-to-back safe matchups for the other guy. Why did I choose to do death today? Okay, so at least I won't have to worry too much about a lot of this stuff. I could just take a Skeletal Dragon before too long just to hit. So he's gonna do that. I may get rid of this. And, okay, he's got Death Pips. I don't know what that's about, but I could maybe start setting up something like Avenging Fossil or whatever. Or even Mash. That would be pretty sick. I'm getting a lot of auras this early on, so not huge on that. It's like the game saw I pulled 0 braces in 30 cards last game and decided, hey, let's give all of them to him now. I don't know, maybe he'll have... Can you just, like, have 2 attenuates or something like that? Please? That could be decent, if I could pull the Tri-Shield. What's he doing here? Bubble? Okay. I can bubble back. Headless just isn't wise in this matchup. It really just isn't. Not going to need those, that's for sure. Does he have another bubble? Of course he does. Well, if he's just solely getting Death Pips, maybe I could try shield this round and get a ghoul off. That would be kinda nice. No dice on that. Okay. Take your time. That Grim could be good. What is that? Oh. Sick. And I've already gotten rid of 2 ghouls. Well, would a fire elf be good here? Maybe we'll see if I can't pull one. I know I've got a few in my deck. I don't know. Part of me doesn't want to chance it. Let's just go for the ghoul. Pyre Dragon here would have been insane, but I guess it's just not a card, right? Another 3-fold's not bad, technically. If he didn't have a shield, this into that could go kind of hard. But I'm mostly just pulling for Fire Elf now. Which I may do... okay. So we'll stabilize first, actually, and then we'll go for it. Because I'm about to do some Ifrit gaming with this. Because I could do this into an Ifrit, into a 3-fold, into a mash with a Ghoul Blade, and that's insane. So we'll see. Banshee, the move of all time. So I guess not with the Ghoul Blade now, but what can you do about that? Alright, let's do this. So this into an Ifrit will do a lot of damage. Won't need 2 Grims. Or Virulence for that matter. I'm mostly just looking to see if I can't get another Ghoul. That would really help out a lot right now. Although I might keep the Virulence. I don't know yet, we'll see. Maybe surges into a Chimera, that's a little demonic, but what can you do, right? Okay, well, let's go for this. Dump some pips, get significantly ahead on damage. I like that. $15.30, and then turn those into a lot more damage. Pretty good, if I say so myself. Okay, I like the fact that I'm getting these. I'm thinking 3-fold. Yeah, we're gonna do the 1-pip 3-fold and try to mash out of it. He's passing a lot, which is kind of interesting. But let's do this into the mash. That will be the play. Dead Zone is also good, but I think I don't want to chance him taking a snowman for longer than I already am. Balance spell, though. What's it going to be? Chimera, of course. But, yeah, we're going to mash here, and then we're going to stabilize again. That still does so much. Like this one's buffed, too, so we need to really think about that. Because look at how much damage that's going to be. And EP serves. So, alright, mash now, and then probably stabilize. It's just such an insane card, even with just 2 dots. Like, into a stabilize, that did 1800 on the hit and 3000 on the dot. With 1 buff. Okay, no crit when I need everything that I can get in this matchup. Awesome. So, I mean, still unbuffed, mash with no crit, 2300, pretty decent. And the Ifrit is also helping us a ton. I like the hand right now. It's going to allow us to really gain a bunch. I think stabilize first and then see what he does. If I have to brace, then I guess I do. Okay, that's fine. Take your time. There we go. Stabilize. Because that's doing 400 a round without it, so we want this up for as many rounds as we can keep it. Elephant is an interesting pull, but I think I'd rather use Pyre Dragon with it. I might get rid of that mash and take 3 seconds for the draw button to work. There we go. What's he gonna do now? Lore Master? Alright, so that's gonna make a ghoul way better. If I can get that. No to the vampire, probably no to that as well. Get rid of 1 brace, perfect. Okay, let's do this. This into Grim would have been much better for threatening stuff, but I also don't really have a move for next round, so... Attenuate's good. We could do that. Fire Elf is also really good, just in case he shields. Those are still on him for a bit. I don't know. I like Attenuate into Grim. Especially now. So that's what we're going to go for. To be honest though, I'm expecting a Banshee any minute now, so we'll see if we get that. And if we do, I might bubble first. Probably not at this point. But yeah, I mean, I've got a pretty good hit teed up right now. If that's another stabilize, okay, it's a brace, a slight gain. But I think I've still got to take this, and then maybe brace out of it. Something like that. I think I have 1 ghoul left. Alright, did get the crit on this one. Maybe? Yes, okay. 2,000, even into a brace, that's pretty good. And those 35 weeks are pretty strong. Okay, I don't need this many elephants game, I promise. Alright. Maybe drawing there wasn't such a good idea. But I think brace into dead zone. That or dead zone brace, depending on how long I've still got on these Chimera dots. Well, I guess... Okay, well, we'll see what Pip gets. If he gets a balance Pip, we'll dead zone. You got a life Pip. Interesting. So, those are still on me for just this turn, actually. So we're going to go for this. And maybe try and get another round off of his brace. So yeah, keeping the stabilize for those Chimera dots was very good, because that was about 140 damage a round that I was able to block out. So for 4 rounds, that was quite a lot. And I don't know where my surges are, because I needed to do that right now, and I just don't have it. I have not seen a single surge yet. And that is a little bit worrisome. Might get rid of that while I look for them. This is a good move. Especially if he... Okay. I can bubble back. Bubble away his brace. That Grim helped me not sit on Shads for too long, but I can already tell I'm almost back to it, so that is an issue. I'm keeping that Elephant for Pyre Dragon just in case. So he's going to do that. Wand into a mash would be good if I can surge out of it. But that is a big if. So we'll see. I can surge out of it. Okay. Good to know, good to know. So, mash, surge, stabilize Grim. I think that'll be good. What is that? So, oh, he did go for a vampire. That was what I was afraid of this whole time. Let's see here. If I think mash is still the play, and then I can surge. It's not going to do much, but this might be like an alpha free type of game instead of really going for many more death hits at this point. So, alright, take your time, game. What's going on? I didn't even get to react. Excuse me? Alright, at least he's not scarabing that. That's helpful. Okay, this is a very good pull. Let's go for this. So I think stabilize here. I don't know yet. He's gonna gaze. So he just has everything. What's up, SM Orgasm? Welcome to the chat. Just the sheer lean of this matchup is going to be the death of me. That's what it's increasingly looking like. Although that is a very good pull. We needed that. That's going to be an attenuate. Alright. But still, much rather do that. And then stabilize. Stabilize Grim. That's what I want to do. If I can pull that off. Fossil could be an interesting one. Although maybe as a finisher. I don't think I would, let's see what he does here. King Artorias. So that's just going to echo the 1. It'll put a balance weakness on me anyway. Or universal, so. Fire Elf. What the hell? Why does that do so much? One singular buff, and this is where we are. Sick. Alright, let's start pulling for my Immolates and Ifrits. Because an MO Ifrit combo now would win me the game. Okay, got the Immolate. I could also just Bone Dragon. So that's Magnify. Interesting. Do we want to do that, or... Okay, I'm thinking Grim first. I've got a weakness on, but it's also 2 buffs. This maybe into something into Skeletal Dragon. Could be how we do it. Maybe Attenuate Skeletal Dragon, because that's 1500 right there. And a Skeletal Dragon would do it with the Attenuate. If I can keep that. Also not seeing Ifrits, so it was good to do that. That Grim. But it's like, what does he do now, you know? Samurai? Okay, Wand here is the play. Just so I can threaten my kill shot. Because we're at a point where he's at like 1600 HP, so... Like, I'm not particularly worried at this point. I could also just mash. But I think Bone Dragon will be better, ultimately. Very interesting, so he did eventually go for that. And he can scales now. But I don't know, I still like this. This is still going to do a ton, and I think... I mean, I don't know if it'll kill, but it might. And even if it doesn't, I have a ghoul. So, how much is it doing? Yeah, it did plenty. Alright, big win. Always love beating balanced wizards. Especially in matchups where I should be losing by 40 points or more. Crazy that his wand gives him 2 cards that are so useful in this matchup. And yeah, he's got... Or I guess he would have the 10 brace setup if he had the right amulet, but... Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was honestly expecting to see more vampires, because that would have been pretty nuts. But... to each their own. It definitely would have worked in that matchup if he'd used more vampires, but... Yeah, kind of glad he didn't. That's the main deal there. So we used... GG's, so... we used an Ifrit, we used an Elf, we used 2 ghouls, we needed another one. Sorry for being balanced. All good. So yeah, mash, and then elemental shield, and then yeah, all we need at this point is the ghoul, so...